I'm Arvind Bali. I'm CEO for Telecom Sector Skill Council. So today we have got here a fireside chat in IMC 2023, where we are going to discuss bridging the gap between telecom, IT, and entrepreneurship, and what country as a whole has to do. Today we heard Prime Minister Modi talking optimistically about India's future and also the way like telecom is changing overall in India. We also have seen this evolution in few decades back. There was one one telephone rather. I'll say that among 1,000 people, and now like we are already having a teledensity of 85%. 120 billion people have got handsets, mobile connectivity at their place. So all this is happening mainly because a lot of focus is there on telecom circuitries, growth, etc. So today I've got very um, learned panelists with me. We have got Mr. Sandeep Girotra, who is like doesn't need actually an introduction. He is a telecom veteran, telecom celebrity. Worked in various companies. Today he is a managing director for American Tower. I have also got Neelesh, who's from DADB, a company which is providing us 5G content. And then we have got Mr. Jagan from Guvi, whose hackathon we are going to launch today itself. So when we actually see telecom, we launched actually today a drop report. As per that report, the survey has been done. Telecom is becoming a very large employer today. Telecom is something which is like every field, every area, it is touching the life of people. And what we are finding is that telecom is also bringing a big change in the overall scenario because earlier a lot of migration used to happen from rural to urban because quality of life was not good, OTT platforms were not there, telemedicine was not there, e-learning was not there, but now everything is there. So they feel that life is much better over there. So all that is being changed, but to make it happen, to provide that, there is already a lot of skilling gap. So, Sandeep, my first question is to you.
Yes.
Sandeep, though like we are seeing and we are hearing a lot about entrepreneurship in this country. Even Prime Minister Modi mentioned during his speech that we have got around 1 lakh startups in the country, and we are already creating so many unicorns. So, one, like, what is your, based on your international experience, how well we are doing, and do you think that we need to do something extra or something really special to really accelerate the growth?
Yeah. So, Arvind, first, I am not necessarily in a position to say how well we are doing, but whatever I read to my limited knowledge, um, we are doing very well. And we have a great ecosystem in the country, given the number of educated population which we produce, the underlying skill of entrepreneurship or finding a way to do things, and then you combine that with the market, and then you combine that with the support of the government and the amount of interest which the early stage investors have in India and the Indian entrepreneurs. So the ecosystem is actually coming out very nicely. So I would say that if we have whatever was said in the morning, 100,000 startups, that's probably just the beginning. So that's point number one. Point number two is the question or the comment which you made in terms of what are some of my own experiences. So some of the startups which I have seen succeed and succeed well, do think about three or four important things. So the first one is that the founder or founders are completely committed to what they are getting into. I mean, there are no ifs and buts. There is no safety net which they think of. They just commit and move. Um, and I think that's very critical. Um, and I'll tell you a small story. I'll take 30 seconds. Um, this is a story about a guy who is flying a single engine plane, and all his instruments fail, and he hits a storm, and he has a handheld compass left. That's it. So now the startup is something like that, right? A single guy going into a storm with nothing. So what does he do? He says the storm is ending somewhere. So rather than going 40 kilometers north, 40 east, 40 south, then 40 west, let me pick one direction and fly it because the storm will end. So I think that's the kind of commitment one is looking from the startups. The second is um, building a very good, strong team in the beginning and then keeping that team close because you are nothing alone in that sense. You may have an idea, but you need team to execute. So keep that team close. The third point which comes to my mind always is scale. That at the very beginning, as the idea is popping up, scale should be popping up as a parallel entity. Because I hate to say this, but ideas are dime a dozen. So when people turn around and if you will hear about the world's most famous taxi uh, hailing service, Uber, was Uber the first company to bring in the idea of ride hailing? No, it was probably 50th. But they are the ones who had the idea charted out to scale. So scaling is the third part. And then fourth is obviously the execution. So that's what I feel. The system, the ecosystem looks good. My sense is commitment, scale, team, and execution.
Thank you. Nilesh, you are also one, I think you come from Germany, you see a lot of things from outside. Secondly, you are also in the tech space, from where, you're providing skilling and education through digital networks. So in your opinion, one thing is established, there is a skill gap, definitely there is a gap in telecom, IT, everywhere, right? How best we can fill that gap? What all we can do to fill that gap?
Yeah, I want to start with one of the statement which was mentioned before as well. The ecosystem in Germany, especially because I studied there as well as in India, it is so developed that the industry takes action to skill the workforce as well, right? They take it as part of their job, they're part of their which they have to do for skilling the students. Whereas in India, the paradigm is little different. The industry and the university academia have a huge disconnect, and as long as the disconnect is there, I think even though you might have the fanciest startup, fanciest idea, and you have the good team, you don't have the scalability which was talking about. That is where you would need that part. Now, when we come to the skilling part, the primary challenge is the current generation thinks skilling or they consume data completely differently than what I consume or the way I see it or process. They are living in the world of TikTok or they're living in the world of Reels, which hardly is around 30 to 1 minute, 30 seconds to 1 minute. So if you can't grab the attention of these students within that 15-30 seconds, make the content engaging, interactive, immersive, you are never going to convince that candidate to sit and learn for next 6 months. That's not possible. That is where we are coming into play as well as DADB, that we bring that curiosity back into the student, like why, what can I do to the content to make this much more attractive, because content is there everywhere, right? You can Google it, you find it, but then when you curate it in a fashion where academia approves it as well as industry backs it up, then that is where the magic happens. The student is all in, he want to study, he or she want to study, and then want to get up into the skilling part. So that is where I see that this can only happen with engaging and immersive content, industry and then academia coming together. And then the third important part is affordability and scalability, right? So you can't create a course which is fancy and then it is much expensive, where then the number of students will be much limited. So you should think education also like a typical SaaS model, software as a service. Like education could be also as a service, especially the digital education, because once you create the content, that can be multiplied 10,000 fold, 10 million fold. It doesn't matter, right? So then you can bring the cost per course per student much lower. So that is where we see that it can help masses to come into play. That's where we are here for.
Good. I think it's a very good point from your side. I think the biggest thing about digital is that highly scalable.
Right.
It is also something which can be done at a very low cost, and also same uniform, high quality content reaches everyone. Right? There's less intervention of local level tutors because you have made the content using the best of the tutors, right? So coming to you, Jagan, Bhuvi is another company which is doing so well. I think when it comes to digital learning, also you have been now part of HCL Tech, which is again a very very great thing you guys have done. And with you, we are launching hackathon. So my question specifically to you is like, you feel hackathons are effective, and what is your experience so far? And the hackathon which we are going to launch now, what is your expectation from that?
Yeah, hackathon is always best innovation platform to identify the talents. Because the students before that students did not know he will able to create a product or product in 24 hours or 30 seconds. If we make us a team and if we give a problem statement with the mentor means they are really good than the software developer. So they focused only on the under 24 hours and they create the prototype. The industry also can benefit with that rapid prototype. Suppose if I want to create a app means it will take 3 or 4 months. The same thing if I give us a problem statement in hackathon, they will create it in the surface level. They will create it in at least 60% of the product will be there. So the government also interested in the hackathon. They also give the problem statement to solve the problem. Many of the problem statement are created by the students to the government.
Good, thank you. And I think I'm also very excited because we are doing
Yeah,
this very large hackathon with you. I
yeah,
think we are targeting 100,000 plus students.
yeah,
We are trying them to participate, and we have kept a very great prize. We are giving them electric scooters as a first prize, and then maybe some other products. So that
yeah,
is something really good. So coming to you, Sandeep, you have uh, actually seen telecom at a different levels, India as well as abroad. We as Telecom Sector Skill Council, we came out with a new program which is called Telecom Gramin Udyami. So it is basically a concept whereby today internet has reached to the villages, and a lot of that dependency has increased on net internet. Now is not the time when if your down network is down for few hours, even in a village, nobody can wait. They want immediate because their education is dependent on that, healthcare is dependent on that, their entertainment is everything, like is linked to that. So we came out with this program where we are creating village level entrepreneurs who are going to be trained, like they'll be say electrician course, they'll also lay the fiber, they will be the ones who will be trained on splicing, they'll be the ones who will attend minor faults of the tower, maybe diesel bearing or those kind of things, they'll be trained on that. And also, when inside you are using SPV, their installation, maintenance, troubleshooting, handset, basic level repairs of handset. That also they will be trained. So there are 7, 8 different skills we are trying to do. You think will it create a big impact as far as creating entrepreneurs, village level entrepreneurs are concerned?
Yeah. So, Arvind, again, I'm sure it will create village level entrepreneurs and some of the examples which you took. So, the network obviously has gone very deep, whether it is a wireless network, whether it is a wire fiber network. It has all gone very deep and it goes through areas which are densely populated to less populated to very less populated and again back to densely populated, etc., etc. So our towers, our towers or the telecom network or the fiber cables, um, to your point, the availability of them has to be 99.95 and more, which means just a couple of minutes a month or a couple of seconds a month, I don't know, but a very small number, given that the life depends on it. So when it comes to the skill sets, we need the skill set where this equipment is, where the end equipment is. Um, and so there is a great opportunity for local entrepreneurs to come up, but that will not come up without the contribution from an organization like TSSC. That these are the set of guys who will need to be trained to a certain level, probably certified as well to a certain level, such that there is confidence that this work can then be passed over to that entrepreneur. Still, it is a little bit more, I would say, organized, but it will still be organized, but it will be smaller chunks. And then will come the second question, that can it eventually become a gig economy like a Zomato delivery person? That okay, I have a fault to be addressed there. Go on the web or the app, do some saying location, and a splicer would emerge from there. But the one on the database has to be trained and certified, because these are very critical pieces of network. Well, critical pieces of network, but critical applications which we are running on the network, health, education, etc., etc. So, I do think that there is a great scope to create again, not to use a Zomato for splicers. Why not?
Thank you. So Nilesh, I think technology always amuses us. It really amuses us because the way, in our area at least, technology, the way it is changing, a lot of things happen which we always wanted, but we never asked anybody to do it. But somebody does it. Like on WhatsApp, so many features come. We know that we need those, and like then somebody is just doing it, developing it, and giving it to us. So that is something really superb and great, right? So same way, where you think the technology is ultimately taking us, and ultimately what all gaps it will create in overall ecosystem.
See, if we see technology per se, right, we should always treat technology as a friend, and you have to come to consensus that you have to live with it, right? What if we have thought car is a stupid idea and we still use bullock carts, right? So we have to make sure that the car is the next advancement of a bullock cart, right? So then we go beyond. We are going to electrical car, and then in electrical car we are talking about now hydrogen-based cars. So technology keeps on evolving, and then we have to cope up with the technology and then use the technology as a platform to use that as a tool to and upskill ourselves. So, for example, when I was mentioning about this last mile, like the Zomato kind of certified people, you can't really give all the equipment to each and every last mile of the India. India is such a vast country and then diversified country with multiple languages, multiple cultures, right? So now that is where the technology, like for example, Meta World, come into play. So using the Meta World, you can really teach to the every little corner of every village in the language what they understand, in the way they understand, and yet give the same experience. Once you learn there, then you upscale, and then you take the qualified ones, skill them little more, then you have the ready workforce. Without, you need to be more decentralized. I think the whole ecosystem technology is decentralizing multiple ways, be it the governance, be it the payment systems. We used to go to bank in the past days to pay. Now it's a UPI, right? It's a revolution. The same way, education as well. We used to go to universities to get all the knowledge. Now it is not anymore. It is decentralized, and that's where technology is taking us. It is making things very, very accessible to every corner and then street of India and then rest of the world as well.
I just want to make one more point, Arvind, or just continuing on my previous topic. I think one topic we should never ignore when we are thinking of taking this entrepreneurship right to the edge is the health and safety topic, because in the telecom network, we work on heights, we work with electricity, and there is driving at any point of time in the day. So I think that is another point which I should have brought out earlier, but when we are transferring those skills, I think this is a very important skill to have passed on health and safety to the staff, because for any large company to use that skill set, this would be one of the filters.
Yeah.
Go, no go. Yeah.
I think very good point, Sandeep, because most of our skilling courses has got section on safety, etc.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we also realize that I think it is not enough. So we must have dedicated skilling around safety. Like for example, this Form Tokely certification, for people who are working on the tower.
Yeah.
I think for every trade, that kind of skills are required. The electrician and everyone who is working there. So definitely. That will be. So Jagan, we are very happy that you are here and you are a very knowledgeable person. Uh, what I like to understand that when it comes to digital learning, where the technology is taking us, what are the new things which are happening? Like for example, we heard from him about metaverse, right?
Yeah.
That is one area, right? What are the other things? Just to take it to absolutely a new level, what are the technologies which will be seeing in future?
Yeah, actually, in future, the augmented reality and virtual reality are more focused area in before that the visual reality augmented reality for only for gamers. Now it will slowly move to the education and hospitals. So even the school kindergarten students they use that augmented reality and virtual reality to convey their ideas. In government also they like that artificial intelligence, even metaverse. So we actually as a Govi we run our whole company in metaverse metaverse platform like Spot or something, because we have all around India we have taken, so we can use like startup also we can use in different way. Digital learning is one of the most personalized thing. So if you want to learn in particular area, particular suppose in AI, if you want to learn prompt engineering, that's the you can't go and get it in the university also. So you need to more stackable. Like if you have to learn digital in prompt engineering or some other thing, means the digital learning can very helpful for that.
Thank you very much. I think we had some very, very insightful points from our panelists here, very good points. So I'll just request each one of you to just give your closing remark, points which you like to emphasize, so that we will then after that close the discussion. So starting from you, Sandeep.
Okay. So, um, comments. I guess the telecom is core to many of the things which we do, and the cycle of telecom is not ending anywhere in the near future. It's only going to become wider, larger, encompass more parts of our life, everyday life, profession, whatever. Uh, so therefore, it will continue to offer opportunities to the ecosystem, starting from startups to local small entrepreneurs at the edge of the network. So it will keep on offering opportunities. Um, it is, I think, up to people like us in the industry, the governments, industry associations like yourselves, Arvind, TSSC, to make sure that we are able to keep pace and get our workforce continually skilled up to deliver and keep pace. Because irrespective of AI and all of that, what we say, the jobs will continue to be available. The skill sets might change. Yeah.
Thank you. Neelesh?
Yeah, as to take on that part, right? Technology keeps on evolving, and I very still remember last year we were sitting as well, and then the 5G was just launched, and then now we are already talking about 6G, right? So the technology will not stop evolving. So skilling, reskilling, upskilling should be part of your life. So everybody should start keeping a budget of time to rethink, reskill, upskill, and then I think, as the famous saying goes, you keep on learning until you die, right? So this is where we come in. We have to make the technology our friend, and also this can be very, very successful only if academia and industry comes together, because that is where the biggest gap is right now. Academia is going on a different direction, whereas the industry is going on a different direction. Both complain about the same lack of workforce. That's where I think we should also start thinking about that.
Yeah, hackathon, like hackathon, some of the even they give more exposure to the students for yeah, in the new way. If you participate in the hackathon, after that you can get more exposure on these things. That's why.
Good. So we had some very, very good points from today's fireside chat. Like, for example, Sandeep gave us really good knowledge as far as entrepreneurship is concerned. And also, I think one very, very good point, takeaway point is that when we are doing anything, and especially in telecom, we should be very, very careful about health and safety, and especially safety is very, very important. Same way, we had very, very points from Nilesh, especially, like where the technology is taking us. There are actually metaverse which can be very well used for skilling and education. Also, digital content is something which is very easy to basically it has got multiplier effect very, very fast. Scalability is very high, and also it can actually be given at a very low cost, and also very uniform high quality content can be provided. Then same way, I think from Jagan, we heard some really good points which were related to digital scaling, why it is getting so much of relevance, and especially I think his points related to hackathon, that even government and all major departments, they are looking at hackathon is something which is the way, because, and I also agree, like there are hundreds and hundreds of students, like there are millions of students studying, they are all having great ideas. So if we can use their ideas, use their thing, because ultimately technology is being maximum used by them. So take their ideas and then convert it into action. I think we can come out with very, very great objectives, idea and everything. So with these words, I am really very thankful to each one of
Thank
you,
you.
Sandeep, Nilesh, and
Thank you.
Jagan, for being our guest
Yeah.
today.